I don't know what happened then, but
This time.
right. Okay, so new episode, new guest. If you just want to introduce yourself first and foremost, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so my name is Cilla Raie. I'm an R&B independent singer-songwriter from North London. So yeah, I've pretty much been doing music for the past 10 years. Long time, but yeah.
That long, yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, no, but you've done like a lot in, I suppose, in a short space of time in terms of like music. You know, music careers can last for years and years and years, but I feel like you've done. I think if I remember correctly, I think the first time I think I listened to you was probably Masterpiece around then, that kind of time. So what was that, 2014?
Yeah, my last EP was 2014 and Masterpiece was 2017. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the EP then, I listened to that first.
Yeah.
And then Masterpiece. I remember that because that had a video. I think I watched the video first, and then got it on like Apple Music or whatever it was at the time, iTunes, whatever it was called.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, man, like, I think you've been around for a while, man. But and obviously put in a lot of work to sustain that. But
yeah,
I want to take it back a bit before we get to there and where we're going. So just as you was growing up, what were the things that, like, when was you first aware that, like, right, I like music, this is what I want to do? When were those early signs for you?
At around about 11, it was definitely school time. You know, I don't know if they still do this now, but in assemblies, like, you know, when they have like the teacher, the music school teacher up at the front, and she's all doing like like singing all the songs and all of that. Yeah, it was from there, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this, and I kept saying to myself, I want to be up there doing what she's doing, type of thing. So it kind of started from there. But in terms of like, you know, wanting to really take it seriously and develop and stuff like that was around about 13, 14. That's because I had a lot of, you know, like musical family members and stuff like that. My brother was a producer at the time. He was heavily producing. I had cousins, you know, some that in Afrobeat groups, some that had done the grime, you know, rap stuff. So I kind of just used to just take my brother's beats and just kind of sneak off without them knowing and just kind of write songs behind everyone's back. Because I was really shy. I was really, 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 really shy. So I used to just go and kind of do it in secret and kind of record myself in secret. You know, we've got the little mic thing that connects to like a little dodgy computer. Yeah. I used to do all of that. And then eventually, like, they started hearing, they're like, oh, play that. And then everyone amongst like my brother and his friends who were all doing music as well was just kind of like, oh, she's good. Just bring her into the studio or do this or do that. And I started doing, you know, like the talent shows, the Hackney Empires, and you know, whatever else was on, school shows. So it kind of just started like from there. Yeah.
That's mad, man. That's mad. But I think even like a lot of people's kind of, when I speak to people, that's what they say, like there's influences from like family or brothers and stuff like that. And I think you know, for you it's no different. You know, I think it's just you know, you've got that kind of solid like brothers and that showing you the love. Because I was the same. You know, I remember our first PC that we got years ago. We got,
right.
Came with one of them PC. Yeah, like a really shit mic. I mean, shit mic. And I remember it wasn't even for like rapping or nothing. It was just to speak into like normal. And,
right.
I remember I used to rap through it, and then my brother would the audio, like it sounded crisp, like it was on a proper mic. But if people heard what I was rapping through, they would be like, no, you didn't do that through that. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But it's mad.
But anything counts, innit?
That's what I'm about to say. Like, it's bad how like the smallest thing can elevate you to like bigger things as well. But you said about 13, 14, you started to take it serious. What kind of music was you listening to at that point? Like, what was?
At that point, it was a lot of R&B. To be fair, I really just started off on a lot of pop music. So like, obviously, I'm 1993, so
You grew
all
up in
of
a good
like,
time, man. That was a good time to grow up.
yeah, perfect time. So like with R&B, the Aaliyahs of the world, Tony Braxton, Tamia, just SWV, Destiny Child, just all those women kind of at that time who were coming up. In terms of pop, I was really into Britney Spears as well. I loved S Club A, S Club Junior. I'm corny as hell in it, but
Yeah.
I loved it so much. And I think, liking different genres of music and not just sticking to just one kind of helped me kind of prepare for being a writer, someone who actually writes their music and stuff like that, and being able to do not just R&B, but a little bit of pop, a little bit of drum and bass, a little bit of country. Just it's kind of helped with that, hold that together. Yeah,
and I think that's vital, because I think a lot of the time some artists just want to go and do the pop thing or the R&B. They want to box themselves in, and then when it comes to songwriting, if they're serious about it and they're working with other songwriters or other producers, and that person does drum and bass or whatever the genre is, they can't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're just focused on one thing.
Right. I think it's a real skill to be able to, cross genres and blend it into something. Like a lot of R&B has some country influences, so I just think it's quite valuable. So it kind of helped mold and shape me into the artist I am today. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's good as well, because I think like a lot of your music is very, very heavily R&B, which I think is amazing, because we don't get that now. You don't get, especially from the UK as well, but even in America, you don't really get proper R&B like Aaliyah's and the other females that you listed. You don't really see them anymore. And
no,
I think that's probably because at some point they switch. Like, if you think about Usher for a prime example, he's one of my favorites. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love Usher, old Usher, proper Usher.
Yeah, old Usher.
Not David Guetta Usher. Because I think that was one of the problems. That I think, like, at some point R&B switched over on. Everyone was remixing like the old R&B, and then they changed it. So it's
like
nice.
This new school thing, yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, so I think it's nice to hear like someone like yourself who has kept it 100 and hasn't had to like change your sound. You've just done your thing, and I think that's vital. Like in your like your industry and the way that you're trying to put yourself there in that position. So I think that's vital, man.
Right. And people like, from what I've put out, it's all been R&B, but a lot of the recorded music that hasn't been out, I do have a lot of pop music. I actually have a lot of drum and bass songs as well, like a lot of different other genres that obviously people haven't heard. So it's there. I'm fully capable of doing other things, but I just like, I love R&B, and I feel like that's my starting point. That's where I'm starting at. So yeah.
No, that's good, man, and I love that, man. I love it, honestly. Like, I'm a proper. Don't get me wrong. I love my grime. I love my rap. That's where my heart is. But I love my. When you're in the car sometimes and you're just chilling, you want to put on a good R&B.
Just something nice and calm, nothing too
man.
Headache-ish. You know what I'm saying? Just something.
If I'm sat in traffic, I don't want to hear Lethal Bizzle or I don't want to hear her get. Like, I love them, but I need something to calm me down if I'm sat in traffic. So
aggressive music. You know what I'm saying? So
it's not on. I can't do that. But so I think it's good anyway. That's what I thought. I'd give you that compliment there. But
thank you.
You're independent as well. You're not signed, are you?
No, I'm not signed. I'm fully independent. I've actually always been independent. I have had moments where it could have gotten into a situation of being signed, but I just, again, like growing up, there's a lot of learning that I had to do, because I started so young, especially starting at 14. That was around the stage I started getting involved with managers and things like that. Like Da Vinci was the first major person who I looked at as a major person who brought me into the studio and just kind of mentored me with his manager, Jackie Davison at the time. She's a huge songwriter, manager. And just kind of moving from there and, you know, trying to find the right management team for me, kind of working with an A&R at the time who paired me with another manager who, you know, I think, again, in general, with life, you kind of have to find the right people who make sense with what you're doing and understand your growth. I was, 16, 17, I didn't really know too much, and I just felt like, okay, well, it felt like, you know, when you're younger, people kind of want to control the aspect of your career and kind of want to steer you in the direction that they want to steer you into. But then you're just kind of like, oh, well, I don't really want to do that. Well, you don't really know how to dispute that. So it was just kind of like I had to just find my feet. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm super grateful because I met so many people in the industry. A lot of the producers and some of the artists who are like really doing their thing right now. There was a time where we were all kind of like coming up. So it's beautiful to see like them flourishing and doing their thing and getting like, you know, number ones on the charts and just becoming major artists and major producers and writers. Like it's beautiful. So it's very much.
No, and I think that's good as well. Sometimes I speak to people who are signed, and I speak to obviously a lot of people that aren't signed as well. And it's surprising because a lot of the people that aren't signed are happy to just continue on that journey and that path, because I think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time to be signed.
Yes, it is.
You know, there's so much that comes, and that's just. I've never been signed, but I know that there's people that have been in that position, and it's almost ruined their careers. Do you know what I mean? Like it's messed up.
I mean, you know, the number one thing that I always heard throughout the years was that some artists are better being signed to major labels or even independent labels, and some artists are just better being fully independent. Like, I think with everybody, it's like a case-by-case basis because, say, for instance, me, I'm a bit of a control freak. So, I'm a little bit of a control freak. I'm not even going to lie. Like, it is what it is. So it's like, I like to know every little aspect, but that's just because you know, having been independent for so long, I've kind of learnt the ropes. I also went to university and did a BA in public relations, PR. So I kind of learned the ropes with that. And then went back again, did a master's in music business management. So there's a lot of things that I know. So then it's just kind of like I'm asking questions that they may not really want me to ask because it's just like, you're the artist, you sit there, just be there, look pretty, and that's it. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, but it's like I just like to just be in control and know what's going on and know because I know what I want. Whereas I feel like another artist may not necessarily know exactly what they want. They know that this is an idea of what they want to do, but maybe to them, a major coming in and steering the direction for them might work for them.
Exactly.
So it's really subjective.
Yeah, and I think it's not one shoe fits all, is it? Like, not one thing might work for one artist that doesn't necessarily work for the other. But I think you touched on a good point that a lot of the time, a lot of people lose that creative control, even if they're not signed as well. They don't have to be signed to a major or a big label. It's just sometimes if you're not careful within the industry, you can lose that creative control element, and then you find yourself almost doing things that you probably wouldn't do as an artist normally, but kind of
it's different things. It's like you could be following a trend and feel like that's for you, or a trend of a sound that's currently going and feel like that's for you and it's really not. Or it could be a manager that comes in and kind of feels like, well, we feel like this is best to go in this direction, and might not be it. So, and I feel like the more you know yourself and the stronger your idea in terms of what your aims are and your goals are, it'll make it a little bit more easier to kind of not be steered in the wrong direction. So yeah,
definitely, man, 100%, man. But one thing I wanted to ask as well, because obviously I'm a father.
Yes.
So I wanted to
Yeah.
know. I mean, I have my own balance. I work
Mhm.
mad hours, but how do you find
Mhm.
being an artist, being a mother? How do you manage the two? And not that you can't manage it, but where's your
Mhm.
balance and where's your level ground? Where's the time for you? How do you do the time for your family life and the music as
Yes.
well?
Um, I think when I had my son, the biggest thing that having him taught me was being disciplined,
Mm.
being strategic in terms of like just having a plan in place or having a schedule in place, like a day to day schedule. I think just knowing that, okay, cool. In the morning, if I need to get this done with my son Roshan, then I'm going to get that within the hour. Do whatever I need to do with him, drop him at nursery, slot in whatever I need to slot in within that time, go and pick him up. Come. It seems like a lot of
That's amazing.
it seems like so much work. And when I explain this to people who don't have kids, they're just like,
Yeah.
they're like so baffled. They're like, how do you do it?
Mm.
But it's just like, I think the transition for me, you know, becoming a mother, it wasn't, obviously it's difficult having, you know, 1 year old, because my son's only 2. It's difficult having a new child, but because I've always been that person who's just got up and worked and got up and moved and I'm constantly doing something, it never really felt like too much pressure, basically. But the number one thing that I definitely try to do to just stay on track is to have a schedule all the time. And then on top of that, I have a really, like, my mom, my family, everybody is just really, really supportive. So if I need something done, like, they're there to help. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
even slotting in this interview now, my son's at nursery, so it's the perfect time for me to be able to do it without jeopardizing any time. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. I think
yeah,
it works well, doesn't it, for you, in that
right,
way? And I think I'm the same. Like I literally, like I said
right,
before, I'm up crack of dawn, like 6 o'clock. That's when my day starts.
yeah. You say the earlier the better.
Exactly. So I can get things done
Right.
before they get up, and then take them to
Hmm.
nursery, come back.
Exactly.
I work as well as this. I do
Right.
music as well. So there's a lot of things that people
Right.
forget. And
Right.
I'll never forget when I had my son, or when we found out we were having my son, and people used to
Hmm.
say to me, "Raw, like your life's ended. You can't do not this, that, the other, and this, that, da, 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 da." And it's just
Yeah.
almost made me think, are they right? But then I'm proving to them, and obviously that when I speak to people like yourself as well, it can be done as well.
It can be done. I mean, when you look at it hypothetically, we have 24 hours in a day.
Mm.
Some people will be waking up past 10 o'clock. That's already like a bit, like a quarter of your day gone. And I just feel like the earlier you start your day, the more you plan your day, the
Yeah,
more you can get done. It's really not that hard. There's people who are, you know, hugely successful and they've got a whole family to tend for
yeah,
with a whole bunch of kids. Why is it that they find the time to still run what they need to do and run their business or run whatever and still make time for family? It's about prioritizing.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
When you don't really have an idea of how you're going to prioritize your schedule, your day,
Mm.
then, you know, I like to plan things. Like, I will plan my whole week and I know what I'm going to do within. Obviously, things come up, but, you know, if I have to take him with me and have him on my,
Yeah,
then so be it. Do you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like, there's no excuse, basically.
that's it. That's what I say to people. Like all my every day, like at least every minute, every second of my day is accounted for. Even if it's sleeping, I know exactly when
Right.
I'm going to sleep and exactly when I'm waking up. Um,
Exactly.
like everything's, and it sounds mad, but everything's regimented. Like if my kids aren't in nursery by like
Yeah.
8:15, it throws
Right.
everything off. So they've got to be in there by 12.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everything. So
Exactly.
but yeah,
Exactly.
it can be done, and I'm glad that obviously you've said that because a lot of people out there they use not a lot of people, but some people use excuses for not
Mm.
being able to do things and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
you're showing people that yes, you can be a mother, you know you
Mhm.
can have these outside responsibilities, but you can also
Mhm.
still fulfill your own career and do what you want to do.
Right, because I had the exact same thing as well, where people were saying to me, "Oh, are you sure you want to do that? Oh, what about your career though? What's gonna happen with that?" And da 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 da. And I was just like, I don't like it when people put limitations on me. If I'm not putting limitations on myself, why are you putting it on me?
It's true.
I don't understand her. I just don't get it. So it's just like, obviously, when I had Roshan, I was actually in the middle of promoting Masterpiece.
Yeah.
So I was doing a radio tour and bam, like it happened. And obviously at the time I'm thinking, okay, what would be the best outcome and blah, 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 blah. Me being a very spiritual person that I am, I was just like, oh, this is happening for a reason. And I'm going to press forward with this, and whatever will be, will be.
That's it.
That's it. It's one child. It's not like it's a football team of 5 kids, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole different story, but I'm just saying, one kid is not going to kill you. Right.
But,
yeah.
I forgot to mention that as well, actually. So, because you did a radio tour for the EP, was it for Masterpiece?
For Masterpiece, yeah.
So, because that's another thing that you don't really see much of now. You don't see artists. You see what people do now. A lot of artists, they get onto they get their thing on Spotify and Apple Music, and they go, job's done. But they don't actually promote the music. No. They just sit back now and wait for the streams. But I had that because that was only 4 years ago that you did that then, or 3?
Yeah, three. 3 and a bit years ago. Yeah.
Even 3 years ago, I can guarantee you at least 50% of serious artists weren't doing radio tours, and I'm guessing you kind of went up and down the country, left London. Yeah. It wasn't just in London, probably Birmingham. Yeah. All of that. Yeah.
Yes. So. I mean, my idea on that is I think it's just the old school mentality. The types of artists that I looked up to and the types of artists that I loved, i.e. the Aaliyahs of the world. I also really loved JoJo.
Yeah.
I used to watch her religiously because they used to do series, vlogging series type things with her. And this girl would literally be, on the bus, drop off to a radio station, back on the bus, another one on the bus, actually on the phone, doing another interview whilst getting to the next one. And they literally would hustle. I mean, hustle every state. There would be a good 15 stations between every state, and they're on the bus going to one after the other. Sometimes you see them before they go in bed, they're having to do a 3 a.m. telephone call to some publication in Germany or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the old school kind of system of, again, kind of artist development, but also building your fan base. Even when people used to have street teams back in the day and things like that. Right, I still believe in that ethic, especially for somebody like myself who isn't I'm not exactly the most known person in the world, you know what I'm saying? But there's a process, and I just feel like you have to take those steps in order because I will be very annoyed. Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, of
I would be so pissed if I made such a banging song today and I dropped it on the internet but nobody heard it.
But that's what's happening.
I wasted that song. To me, I feel like I have wasted the song. There is no point spending the money to go to the studio and paying that studio fee, the recording fee and the mixing fee and the mastering fee, only for you to just go and put it on the internet and that's it.
That's what
what's the point?
That's the key thing that people are doing now is they miss out all of that, and all they want to do is say, I've made this and I'm going to give it to the world, but the world won't hear it because who knows it's out there.
It's an expectation thing. I think people just expect that people need to fans need to go to them. Where in the beginning, particularly in the beginning, I feel like it's the opposite way. Yeah. You need to go to your fans. You need to reach as much audiences as you can. For me in particular, it's just because I did PR as a bachelor's. Kind of learning the ropes with all of that and just understanding the world of obtaining press and building relationships with journalists and things like that. You just need to be able to just cross every corner, to get your name out there. The industry is too saturated now. There's too many artists. Everybody's trying to kind of rumble their way through in such a small industry, and how are you going to separate yourself out by actually doing the work and making sure you're visible everywhere?
And that's it, isn't it? I think I wouldn't even be surprised, and I might be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised in a couple of years if the streaming thing dies down and we actually go back to physical, needing to have that radio plug. You need all of that again. You need to go back and that physically buy, because I can see that happening. Because from an artist point of view, the like, it's not set up right for an artist in terms of streaming and the numbers and the money side. Financially, it needs to be a lot better. And I think I've spoken about this on here before, but it's just not right for artists to not get paid what they should be getting paid from their skill. So I can slowly doing that now. There's a lot of artists that will use Bandcamp, or they'll use have physical sales rather than just it's on Spotify, go do that and give me my 0.3 pence of every stream, whatever it is now. So
Right, exactly.
I think all that radio plugging and the tours, the radio tours, all of that is so vital, because I think not only does it get your name out there, it shows that you're connecting with other media outlets.
Exactly. And I feel like when you are trying to get to a point of even wanting to sign, with a major, I feel like, especially because we live in a time where they kind of want artists to do the groundwork before they even step in.
Exactly.
Doing all of those things will kind of, give you the quotations that you need from certain media outlets. They'll feel like, okay, cool, he's being supported by this place or that place, and they've done the groundwork and they've covered all the smaller independent publications or radio stations and stuff like that. Like, you actually show that you're actively moving in the industry instead of just popping up expecting to just be on BBC One Extra just today. Do you know what I'm saying? So they want to see that there's activity. So
I'm laughing because I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because what you're saying is spot on, man. Like, it's so. But when you explain it to some people, they go, "Oh, you're just chatting. You're just talking rubbish, man. You just," you know what I mean. But I think, I think you're right. I think that a lot of that needs to happen more. Even if your stuff is on Spotify and Apple Music, it still needs to be a case of you going out there and telling people, like, listen, I've got this banging tune, I made it, and this is coming next. Go and do this, that, the other, and do you know what I mean? It'll happen. But,
exactly. And then at the same time as well, I just feel like, it gives you that discipline as an artist. You become less lazy, because I feel like there's a lot of laziness that's going on. There's a lot of laziness that's going on at the moment. But
don't get me started on that. Don't get me started.
And also, again, genre really depends. Don't get me wrong. There's a small percentage of artists who can literally just get the opportunity to just be on one publication and go bam and just make it. Do you know what I'm saying? Very small percentage. The rest of us, the little people like myself, we have to work. And remember, I'm doing R&B in a country where R&B isn't predominant. So the work is a lot more harder in terms of, like, I have to do the groundwork, probably more than a drill artist probably has to.
So it is what it is. No, it's interesting you say that, because I was speaking to someone a few weeks ago, and we was having a conversation about how females are sort of looked at, not just in terms of just females, but just how they don't really get the recognition as much as male artists do. Maybe not so in America, but definitely here. Like, I feel like even when you talk about, like, a rapper, which is a female MC, they go, "Oh, she's good for a female." But they don't say she's as good as Gets, or she's as good as Skepta, Wiley, all these other artists. They never put them on the same level. So I just wanted to get from you, have you ever had like a moment where, or any kind of experience where, like, you've kind of, you've been in a room with artists and they're kind of saying, "Oh yeah, but she's good, but she's a female. I expect her to be a good R&B singer," or "She's not as good as the other." Do you know what I mean? Like, the other guys that are singing. Have you ever had that?
I wouldn't say directly to me, but I've kind of seen it in instances of other artists, in terms of, like, particularly with the comparison thing. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like, especially as a Black woman, here doing music. It's just a lot more hard. I feel like until you get the respect that they kind of expect you to have, but then even then, it's just kind of like, it's still very sexist, basically. That's how I feel. It's still very, very sexist, and it's just but I do feel like we're living in a time where there's more, like right now, there's more female artists who are getting the respect that they deserve. For instance, the Miss Banks of the world, the Shea Bows of the world, and all those, all those female artists coming up. But it's still hard in a sense where we might not get the same success that maybe, like a Stormzy and a Skepta of the world might get. But since the climate is changing a little bit, who knows? Maybe next year one of these girls might be even bigger. So, but it is difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's changing slowly. I think in fact, let me take it back actually, because we've skipped, like, there was loads of female artists that came before even.
Yeah, loads.
Like, you think about all those artists. Let me try and think of some quickly on the top of my head, but we've had loads of female artists that have come through.
Miss Dynamite of the world.
Dynamites, and even I remember going back, and it's a bit different. She's not an R&B singer, but Lisa Mafia was. I remember when she was coming up, and she was obviously in a collective, the only female kind of at the time that was being pushed forward. I know there was other females in So Solid, but at the time she was like the one that was the female figure of the crew. And it was like, so we've had artists, but not as many as I'd have expected, and I'm hoping that changes.
Right. I do feel like right now we are getting a much more female artists than probably within the last maybe 5, maybe even longer than that, maybe the 10 years. There's a lot more of them coming through now because I feel like, okay, we're starting to actually recognize the talent of a lot of these female artists coming through who are actually much better than some of the guys you have out here. I'm just sorry, but I just had to say I'm all for my women.
Some of the videos, like, I don't even know how they get onto like these platforms, because obviously I know there's a way of doing it, but I just think some of these guys, wow, who was in the studio when they said, yeah, this is a go, let's give them. And that's not really to be disrespectful to anyone. Just there's certain people that are given, and this is in life actually. So take this away from music. There's people that are given platforms in life that don't necessarily, not that they don't deserve it, but there's other people that are probably more suited to get that platform, if you get what I mean. Right.
And then if you think about it, if a female was to come out at the level of that, or some some of these male artists come out, we get slaughtered. I mean, like, we'll get knives thrown at us. Like, we will get penalized to the T, literally. Like it. But then you have some of these guys out here making such
just rubbish,
low barrel music, and it's just like they're kind of getting away with it. Whereas let it be a female, everybody's on her. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think the dynamics need to change, because I think at the moment it's still predominantly kind of like females are just seen as the girl in the video.
Yeah.
That kind of stigma, that stereotype of she should be in the video just in the background kind of thing. Whereas we need to kind of change that now and make it so that the female isn't in the background. She's actually the girl, that the voice of the video. All of that needs to happen a lot more, I think, and I think it's happening over time. I just think it's a gradual process, but I think it needs to speed up a bit now, because I've been having this conversation with people for years.
God, yes. Never ending. And it's part of the reason why I feel like, but even though I'm grateful for my journey, I kind of wouldn't change anything for it, because I feel like there's just a time for everything. Which is why I felt like it was very, very much so difficult for me to navigate in this industry. Again, particularly finding the right, team to stick with, finding the right people to work with, or just being given certain opportunities and it sliding because of whatever reason. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's been very, very hard, and I can attest to that. But I wouldn't change my journey for nothing. I think everything I've learned, everything I've seen, everything I've been taught has made sense for what I'm doing right now. So yeah.
Stepping stones to the next thing, isn't it? That's just how you got to look at it. But
Exactly.
going back to your discography, so your first EP, was that self-entitled? Was that just
so it was it's just called Cilla Raie. Yeah.
So then you had that, and then was in between that you had like Masterpiece. Then after that,
right. So because I dropped my EP, the Cilla Raie EP, in 2014, you know, again, I dropped that project in the middle of still going to university and working a part-time job. So I dropped that project. I was still at uni full-time and I was working a part-time job. It was just crazy. So obviously it was taking a bit of time for me to kind of figure out what I wanted to do next, whether if that was just get to the next project or drop a single from it. But I needed to just take the time to do it because there was so much going on. And that's when we were just like, you know what, let's just go for Masterpiece, put it out there, then we'll drop a new project just to kind of keep the ball rolling. And then obviously as I did Masterpiece and I was kind of promoting that, I again had my son. So there's quite a few gaps there, but
but you went to just go and be the mom that you needed to be at that point, and I think sometimes you need that kind of break anyway. Because I'm hoping this new EP is going to be just as good as obviously the
God.
And we're gonna get onto that in a minute. We're gonna get into that. But there was, you had another song with I can't remember what's called. Double S was on there. And Jamming was on there as well.
Yeah. So it's a featured song with CK and Double S and Jamming. That was again. Do you know what? It wasn't intentionally supposed to be a single. We just kind of wanted to put something out because I just felt like a lot of people kind of knew me for the slow jam queen or whatever. So it's just like we just wanted to put something out that was a bit different, a bit of, just kind of hit a little bit of a different audience kind of thing, and just kind of experiment what it would feel like to work, collaborate with other artists. And I just kind of wanted to get a feel of that. So and I mean it got premiered with DJ P Montana on his show, which was on, was it Radar at the time? I might be wrong. So, and it just kind of did the rounds of what it needed to do. But then again, like I said, when I dropped that, again, child. We even had a whole music video for that, which was half done. It never got finished, so and we were contemplating. We were literally contemplating. Should we put it out? I was like, just let the song be what it is. Like, we'll move on. It's just a different time. Like I'm a totally different person today. You know what I'm saying?
But then your latest single, Ain't No One. What inspired you to write that? And is there a reason or meaning behind it, or was it just that it felt right? This is what came out of the pen. What inspired you?
Well, funny fact about that song, again, I wrote that around the time I released Masterpiece. So that was it.
Wow. Okay. Right. Okay.
I have a lot of, the problem is, before I took a break, we had stacks of stacks. I was still going to the studio. I was still recording. So we had stacks of music. So when we decided to put it out this year, I said to my manager, I needed to find the right time in terms of being mentally ready, physically ready, getting my child in nursery so that there's extra time for me to be able to do certain things and just getting to a place where I just felt ready overall. But I needed to feel like there was a reintroduction again. And I felt like out of all the songs that, I'd recorded before, I felt like Ain't No One was the best. Well, not the best, because it's not my best song, per se, but in terms of just the R&B-ness of it all.
It's a good song to kind of reintroduce yourself back
Yeah.
bring yourself back into that sort of into the front of everything again, because sometimes
Mhm.
people I think struggle to, like I said, like I've got two kids. My kids are 1 and 2, so that's
Yeah,
like
they're all early stages.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like as long as I still make a bit of music here and there, but it's just
Yeah.
you don't find the time to do it. So
Right,
um,
right,
it's good that you
right.
have. Sorry, go on.
Which, I mean, made it a bit easier because it wasn't like a song that I had to go into the studio and record and do and all of that stuff. The song was already there. It just needed to be mastered. And then
Yeah,
obviously all the little creative processes behind it, i.e. getting the artwork, which is what me and my manager did ourselves, shooting a video, which is the video that I actually shot myself,
oh wow.
and just kind of getting it. And again, the climate of lockdown, which was the time when we released the song, was actually during lockdown and being able, we're all quarantining and stuff like that. So hence why I had to shoot the video myself and I edited it myself. So
Was that the first time you did that?
a
The
music
edit?
video,
No, like the editing side of it. Yeah.
as in like just general video editing, or like
Just
as in
for
like my thing.
your thing, like your own thing.
I've edited. I don't want to tell people, but yeah, I've got a separate YouTube page called Life with Cilla. So it's got
Okay.
like just lifestyle type stuff, like just other non-music related stuff.
Okay,
So
okay,
kind of
okay.
learning how to like shoot videos and edit and stuff like that was kind of
Mhm.
what I got from there. I mean, I'd always known how to do it because we have an EPK that, when we send like, you know, a press kit, the
Mhm.
EPKs in there, which I edited myself and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I'm kind of, I say I'm pretty good at it, but
Multi-talented, yeah.
uh,
Multi-talented.
thank you. So so again with the video, we shot it myself and edited it myself. And to be honest, I just thought, okay, it would just be like, when people just throw up songs on SoundCloud and it's just kind of a song on SoundCloud. I thought it was just going to be one of those tracks because, again, it wasn't like, oh, I was putting my best track out there, but it just something to just test the water again, because I'd been
Yeah,
out for a bit of a while, and it just did
yeah. It's done
way
well. No, it's done really
way
well.
better than I thought, honestly. And I was just like, okay, I'm meant to be doing music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It just
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of solidified that for me and just gave me the extra confidence and the boost that I needed, which kind of got me right here today.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like even at the start when I said like obviously you've done a lot of work um in what seems like a short space of time, even though you've had that
Mm,
sort of that moment to find your feet, being a mom and sorting that side of
mhm,
your life out. But I feel like
mhm.
you've never really it's like it's almost like you've never been away. Does that make sense? Like you've always
Right.
although you had that little bit out, you just came back and went bam, here you go, have that. And
Yeah.
it was received really well. And I think
Yeah.
obviously you've got the EP, which I think is going to be 1 and 2 part EP
Mhm. Mhm.
coming out.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit
Yeah.
about that. When is it coming out? Can we get a name for it yet? Are we not allowed to say? I won't push you. I won't push you. I'll push.
So the exciting thing is, which I am now allowed to talk about. So the Arts England Council slash not National Lottery are going to be funding this whole project.
Right. Okay.
So we've thankfully, thank God, been able to have, a big financial backing behind it, and we're going to be pressing on with this project, co-signed with them.
Yeah.
And basically what I can say is the next single that I have, because of the, obviously we're coming into the Christmas period now and stuff like that, so the release of it will be right at the top of the year. And right
Well,
at the top of the year,
yeah.
once the Christmas period is, because end of the year everyone's out of office, you know what I'm saying, so it's just
Yeah.
so I'm actually shooting the video for it in the next 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
So yeah, the top of the year is gonna be bam in your face, kind of.
Are we going to get the two parts at the same time, or are we going to get the two parts like separate?
So it's going to be separate, definitely separate. Obviously, you know, when you put a single out, you kind of have to run that campaign for a period of time and then do the second single and then the EP drops. But what I can say, I feel like it is probably one of my best projects I've ever made.
Yeah. I
have ever made. Like, I literally, as soon as we got the go to with Arts England in August, I spent September and a little bit of October basically just locked in the studio every day, literally drop my child off studio every day, finishing this project. There's 6 songs on it. The whole project is basically finished, done, wrapped. All the songs are complete, mastered, ready to go. So
gotta press that green button. What's the green button?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not a thing where it's just like I'm kind of talking about a project that hasn't not yet been done. No, it's done. It's finished. All the songs are there. I've got some crazy features on it. And yeah, I'm just super, super grateful and super, super thankful for Arts England National Lottery for even taking, like, backing me out of all people. You know what I'm saying? The opportunity is what, you know, a lot of artists would want. You know, being able to have that financial backing and not having to be on a major label and it not being in advance is huge for me personally. So just having the opportunity to just being able to shoot videos to the quality that I wanted to be shot at, being able to, you know, get an external PR team on board, being able to get a radio plugger on board, you know, different team members who are going to come in to basically make this project what it needs to be. Right. And in terms of the songs, like I said, it's pure R&B to the T, and it's just like a mixture. There's, you know, like a slow jam on there, but there's also really up tempo, pure R&B sounds. Like I'm really excited for everyone to hear. I'm really excited.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait as well. And it's even good that you've had like the backing as well, the financial backing. How was that process hard? Was it easy? Was it something that you wasn't sure was going to happen? How easy was that to do?
To be fair, I would say it was a long process in terms of being able to, you know, because at the end of the day, if you're going to want financial backing or some type of funding or some type of anything, you have to present to them why, what, who, when, how much, where, who, what. Like, there's so much components to it. I think it took a couple of weeks to basically put together everything to let them know that, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what, you know, your help would do for me, my project. This is the outcome of it. But you really, really have to be on it because, you know, it's competitive in terms of asking the Arts England to fund you, in terms of like getting them to really back your project, because there's thousands, especially with COVID and everything that's going on. There's a lot of musicians, whether that's, you know, a singer, rapper, or even live players and things like that, who need the help. They need help right now. They really, really need the help right now. And I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where it's not like it's detrimental for me and I needed the help, like life or death type of thing. Just it being helps. Able to... Exactly, it helps. And, you know, I always say all the time, you know, in other interviews, you know, things like, people always say, oh, why is the artist taking so long to release? Why are you only dropping 2 singles in the year? Or why are you only doing this and that? Everything adds up. I don't think you understand. We're talking like
money.
Thousands. Yes. When you think about just recording fees and your mixing and your mastering, then you move from there and you probably got to pay your collaborators or whoever's musician fees, production fees, then you move from there and the creative, and you want to obviously do a shoot for your cover, for your press shots. A photo shoot costs money, the photographer, your makeup, for a woman particularly, because listen, we want to look on point, so hair, makeup, all of that ain't cheap. And clothes.
That's a couple of bags easy.
Oh God, it's a lot. And then you move from there. Then you got to think about how much is PR going to cost. Are we going to go with this agency? PR agencies would roughly, I don't know, for an independent, roughly around the 800, 900. And then you go from there, and it's like, okay, we need radio pluggers. We need to make sure we're getting on BBC Radio 1 Extra, Capital Extra, all the main stations that you'd want to get on. And that's another pot of money in itself. And then again, music video, pot of money in itself. All of that is pricey, very, very pricey. So the fact that I had this and to be able to actually live my dream, and they've enabled me to be able to do that, is just, words can't explain. Like, honestly,
it's amazing, because I think, like you said, there's so many other people that are probably trying to get that as well, and I think it's just brilliant that, like, obviously you've got that now. That you've got that underneath you.
Right.
Yeah, you can press on and get all the other things.
Right. Exactly. And I had my manager saying to me the other day, "Oh, you need to do consultancy, because how for you to get that? You need to start." I'm like, listen, at some point in the future, probably.
Yeah. Get the EP out first.
Exactly.
And we'll talk about that.
Right. And then again, my last point on that is, like, it goes back to what I said about doing the groundwork, because I really did the groundwork from before, and I was able to have all of these people kind of co-sign me, and I already had the 1 Extra plays with DJ Ace, and this and the Link Up TVs kind of co-sign, and just all these other platforms, tons and tons of them. So I was able to basically say to them, well, this is what I did, and I did this all off the back of my own funds. And I really worked hard, and I really did what I needed to do in order to get the traction that I got so far. So can you come in and help elevate it?
Yeah.
So,
it's looking good for 2021 then, I think.
Yeah,
we'll get to see that. As long as we don't get another mad lockdown, because we're...
No. I'm just glad that right now, even though we're in a lockdown, that TV, film productions can still go ahead and shoot. So as long as it's, as long as the nursery ain't closed and TV and film, as long as those two things ain't closed, then we're good to go. Everything else can just be done digitally. Do you know what I'm saying? So
if the nursery gets shut, it's a shutdown for everything.
Oh my God, it's just pain, absolute pain. I can't.
It's mad. Like my little girl, she was she didn't have it, but someone in the class apparently had it, so she
no,
they send the whole class home then, so she was off for 2 weeks.
Oh God,
listen, you see that first day back to nursery,
skipping like
listen, we left at like 7:45. We didn't go home till 8 o'clock. We were there at like 10 to 8.
People don't understand this is real.
I was like, you're going straight to that nursery today, but I think for 2021, obviously, like, all jokes aside and that, but I think 2021, man, it's looking big. I can see, obviously, we've done the groundwork, we've got music already, videos they're not even like, and this is again no disrespect to anybody, but they're not like just your basic like UK videos. They're like proper. They're done.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Or they're done well. They're not like. You know what I mean? They're not just like.
They're
not filmed in just like a car park, or you know what I mean? Like.
It's just standard.
Every video now, car park, or they're all just like driving in a car. No one's driving a car, but they're all sat in a car. They're just. Come on, we've got to be like.
Right. And it's mad because I just feel like, obviously, you got to start somewhere when you do videos and whatever. You've got what your budget is or whatever. But I just feel like with the people that we've got on board now, it's just gonna be times 10. So that's why I'm really gassing it up, because I just feel like this is really about to take it. Although it was at a level already, it's about to take it even more.
Yeah,
up
man.
there.
I
So,
can't wait, man. I can't wait.
thank you.
But, so let's talk about your socials real quick. Where can we find you? What are you on? What are you using? What's your usernames or your handles?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, Cilla Raie. So spell that out, Cilla Raie. I'm mainly on there quite a lot. I also am on Twitter, Cilla Raie again. Facebook, it's Cilla Raie. YouTube, Cilla Raie TV, which I'm glad YouTube's done this thing now where they merge all your videos together.
Okay.
Because we had Vivo before and then my channel before, but they kind of squashed everything together now. Yeah, for music artists now, which is good. So you can find me on there or just search me, Cilla Raie. Snapchat occasionally if you guys use it. Cilla Raie again. But yeah, Instagram, I'm literally always on there all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, I need to stop using socials, man. I'm gonna get myself.
Oh my god! Listen, it's okay to take breaks. Breaks are good. Or post and go.
I can't. You see, do you know what? I don't.
Oh really?
I look and then I realize I've been scrolling for like 20 minutes. I'm like, what am I still doing? Put it down.
It's addictive.
It's mental. Like my cousin, one of my cousins, he comes off it a lot. Like he goes on for like 1 month out of the year and then he just stays off it. But I take breaks. I take like proper breaks. I deactivate and all that. But man. But obviously I'm gonna put the links to all your socials there at the bottom so everyone can find that. There was a lot of socials.
Oh, sorry guys. I mean, the world of artists. Whatever you guys use the most. Yeah.
No, I'm messing. But no, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate that. And so obviously looking for 2021. We're gonna get the EP name, or we're not allowed to say, or no, I'm not gonna push you. I want to wait. We'll keep it.
No, do you know what it is? Because the singles are coming out first.
Okay.
So, once we get into the second single, I'll start dropping little hints and whatnot.
We'll get you back on though when obviously the EP drops, and then we can.
Yes, please. Yes.
Provide it then as well. Hopefully, again, we're out of lockdown then, but everyone stay safe.
Yeah, hopefully.
Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it so much.
I appreciate you taking the time out as well.
Yes.
Right. Talk soon.
Talk soon.
Thanks.